Welcome to Lineups and Lures, where the talk runs from the dugouts to drift boats. We're all about the games we play and the waters we fish, the stories, the rivalries, the moments that keep us coming back. If it happens under the lights or out on the water, we're in. This is Lineups and Lures.
All right, so let's talk about the flawed NBA playoffs that then lead to draft picks and the issue of tanking in the NBA.
Tanking is definitely an issue in the NBA.
A hotly debated topic. Happens every year. How do we solve this problem? Because I've got some ideas.
Well, we were talking the other day. You know, there was an article that came out, I think it was ESPN or something, and they kind of listed a couple different options, and one was freezing the standings at a certain calendar date, so that way it didn't matter if you tanked the last couple weeks. There was some things about ping pong balls and whatever. But I think we came up with an even better idea.
We?
Well, you started it. I helped you flesh it out a little bit more. So why don't you go ahead and present the Lineups and Lures solution to NBA tanking?
Excellent. Okay, so the general philosophy is that you'll have 4 playoff teams from each division.
Conference.
The 3 conference winners plus the team in that conference with the best win-loss record. Straight up.
Correct.
There's your 4. So you've got 4 and 4 in the East and the West. Those 8 teams are the only teams now competing for the championship. Okay? Now, you then have the 2nd seed, the 3rd seed, the 4th seed, and the 5th seed in each of those divisions. What you do is you take all the 2 seeds from the East and the West, put them in one bracket, all the 3 seeds, all the 4 seeds, all the 5 seeds.
Okay.
Now, to prevent tanking, there will be 6 2 seeds, correct?
Correct.
They get to play for draft picks 1 through 6.
So the number 1 ranked and the number 2 ranked get a bye, right?
No. The top 8 teams are out. They're playing for the championship.
Yeah. So I'm saying if there's going to be 6 2 seeds.
Correct.
So
no,
3 plays 6,
Nope.
4 plays 5,
Nope.
and then 1 and 2 get buys into the next round.
1 plays 6. That would leave you unnamed. Yeah. So you'd have to have, and this is based purely on win-loss.
Correct.
And then you'll have a set of tiebreakers, I'm sure, but basically win-loss. Yes, the 1 and 2 would get the bye, and you'd play 3-game sets or whatever the math works. And then they play for draft picks 1 through 6. And where they finish that tournament, they get the 1st pick, the 2nd pick, the 3rd pick, and so forth. Then you take all the 3 seeds, do exactly the same thing, and they get to play for picks 7 through 12. The 4 seeds play for 12 through 18, the 5 seeds, and that way, even at the end of the season, you're not tanking to be the last team because then you only get the opportunity for draft pick 19 through 24. You want to try to get to the 3rd spot or try to get to the 2nd spot in your division because it gives you the opportunity at a higher draft pick. So there is never a point in the season where you are not trying to get better and win.
Doesn't that seem like it solves tanking?
I just solved the NBA's problem.
Yeah. The only other thought I had was, I don't know the exact number of teams, but why not take all of those teams that don't qualify for the NBA Finals route, put them into you could say a single elimination or even a double elimination. I don't know if best of 3s works because that's a lot of teams.
You could just go straight March Madness style.
That's what I'm saying, single elimination style. So whoever wins that tournament gets the number 1 overall pick.
So essentially we get into we're having the same idea using a different way.
Well, I'm saying that the 32nd team
still has a shot at the
still
first.
has a shot at the number 1 overall seed.
I'm not sure I hate this idea.
I mean, it's kind of two options there. It gives equal opportunity. Now, I think if I'm the NBA, I like your idea a little bit more, although I would flip that. I would maybe have something the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah, but then the problem is those guys are tanking the last month of the season to get in that bracket.
Yeah. That's why I think the March Madness style works. Do a 24-team single elimination tournament.
So while it works once you get to the tournament, you're also going to have at that point a bunch of guys resting guys and doing stuff to be healthy for that tournament as opposed to playing down the stretch.
That's fine. You still got to win. I mean, if it's a 24-team tournament, you still got to win, 3 games, 4 games to get to the championship? No. And then maybe you do a best 2 out of 3 finals.
See, the only reason that I like my idea, and actually I'd love to see both in action.
Yes.
I actually think as a spectator, your idea is better. As a keeping the league on the up and up, my idea is better.
Well, and as a businessman, your idea is probably better because there's more games.
Well, I wasn't even going there, but my thinking was more so, you get into late March and early April, those last 8-10 games. My system rewards you for keep playing hard because second is better than third in the division and third is better than fourth in the division. With your deal, yes, they're going to play hard in the tournament, but for that month before the tournament, there's going to be a lot of roster management going on.
Yeah, but there could be. But even if you are, part of this idea is to get all 82 games to be more competitive throughout the course of the season.
And my way works better for that.
But at the same time, if you're the 1 seed, you get to play against the 24 seed. So you don't really want to be the 24 seed going into that tournament.
Hold on a second. So you're not going to have a separation for the division winners and stuff?
No. So you still have the division winners. They're in the NBA Finals.
So let's just say those 8 teams like we discussed.
So let's say there's 32 teams in the NBA. I don't know how many there are.
I think there is 30. So 8 of them are gone.
So 8 of them are gone. So that leaves you with 24 teams. So you'd have 1 versus 24, 2 versus 23.
I get that, but you're missing my point.
Well, but I don't think you want to be the 24 to have to play the 1. So now you might be playing a little bit harder that last month and a half, because I'd rather be a 18 or a 16 instead of a 24.
It's not completely without merit because I get it, but on a one and done basis, man, or even if it's a best of 3 basis, I could still see a lot more opportunity for tanking there.
I think there's still an opportunity, but I'm increasing my odds the higher that my seeding is. If I'm a 24 seed going into that tournament, I'm pretty much assuming, it's like a 16-1 in March Madness. It doesn't happen very often. I don't see a 24 seeded Indiana Pacers going in and knocking off number 1 seed Boston Celtics. Like, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm willing to give either one of these a try because it's better than what we got right now.
Yeah.
And, maybe you can throw some financial compensation in for the owners and the teams to it's funny how money seems to be a motivating factor for a lot of people.
Well, what do you mean? The higher seed's going to host the game. So there's another reason to be a higher seed. You want to be that 1 through 12 seed because now you're at least hosting 1 playoff game. Well, think about the gate, the concessions, the beer sales, the sponsorships, the TV
money.
rights.
Yep.
So you are going to make more money off of that. And people are actually going to be watching the NBA at the end of the season. And now you can maybe spread out the NBA championship games a little bit more. You have, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is.
Well, and the other thing is you could almost have like a prelim before the big game every time because there'd be enough games to do things like that.
Yes.
Hey, both of our ideas are a hell of a lot better than what we got going today.
Yes.
And I'm sure we haven't exactly sat down for months and studied this. This was kind of an off-the-cuff idea, but the further we went with the off-the-cuff idea, the more and more we're sitting there going, man, this really could work. So I'm game for either one, or maybe let's try one year, one the other year, and maybe you just flip-flop back and forth and see what happens.
Hey, that's what they do with the All-Star game, right? 1 year it's USA versus the world. The next year it's Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. You don't really know what's going on in the All-Star game anymore.
Well, let's not get into All-Star games or whatever because those have become a joke.
But they're willing to experiment.
Look, and at the end of the day, even as a pretty much non-basketball guy, I would probably sit down and watch one of those playoff games, even if I didn't. It could be, wouldn't have to be the Blazers or the Lakers, or it could be anybody. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but this is a playoff game. These guys are going to bust their butts today, and that's why everyone watches playoff football and playoff baseball because it's different. It's I'm in.
Well, and this isn't necessarily just the NBA. NBA has a massive tanking problem, but why can't you do this in baseball?
Could do it in baseball.
I don't think you could do it in the NFL. I don't.
You don't need to.
You don't need to.
Because at the end of the day, with only 17 games, there's a lot of guys playing for contracts. And even look at this year. Tennessee nearly screwed up the first pick by winning.
Yeah.
So because a lot of times late in the year, you've got some veterans that'll, my hammy's a little tight, I might just call it.
Yep.
Well, guess what? The next guy up's looking for a roster next year.
He's trying to get paid.
Yeah. So
I think it would work in the NBA. I think you can make it work in baseball, and I think you can make it work in the NHL.
Yeah, hockey's all you, bud. I can't comment on that. But yeah, I love the idea, and I like the idea of having competitive games that mean something, which means it's a good spectator experience.
Absolutely. Well, if any of our listeners out there know anybody connected to the NBA, Adam Silver, we're more than happy to fly in and have a meeting with the Brain Trust and pitch our idea.
For a fee, of course.
Of course. Ready to make big gains this winter? Portland Baseball Club's Sunday camps are back and better than ever. Start your morning with a 90-minute hitting camp, then stay for a 90 minutes of pitching and fielding to round out your game. Every Sunday through March for just $60 per camp. Work with top PBC coaches, sharpen your mechanics, and train like the pros right here in Portland. Spots fill fast, so grab yours now at portlandbaseballclub.com. That's portlandbaseballclub.com, where Portland's best ball players train. All right, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. Tyreek Hill released by the Dolphins. I think we both expected that to happen.
How much money did they have to eat?
I don't know how much they ate, but I think they're saving like $30 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, we don't know if that guy's ever going to play football again.
Well, I think he plays football again. I just don't think that he plays at the level that he's ever played at. I mean, when you're built for speed and you have an injury like that, that's going to be tough to come back from.
Yeah, I don't think the cheetah's going to be the cheater the same way he was.
No, not quite. But he could probably still help a football team.
He can. And the one other thing I'd bring up with him is I think we're seeing it more and more across all professional sports where character is becoming more and more in play, not just the ability on the field. And he ain't a great character guy.
He's not. Looks like the Dolphins are also talking about releasing Bradley Chubb as well, linebacker. So they're looking to kind of dump some money. Kind of rebuild this thing.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you got a new head coach in there that's obviously want to run his style of football. Not that much different than what the Seahawks did a few years ago, quite frankly. Remember, we let go of some guys. I mean, Geno, Tyler Lockett, traded our middle linebacker who was pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it's part of the game, right?
It is, and, as it should be. I mean, if a guy's going to come in here, what most coaches maybe get two years, if things aren't heading in the right direction, they might be looking for another job.
Yep. So
you kind of got to come in and clean house and get it going. Otherwise, you're looking at the unemployment line.
Yeah, absolutely. Teams are it's a much easier move on from guys these days. It seems like they're just willing to cut it. And now that we saw with what Denver did with Russell Wilson's money, I mean, you can rebuild pretty quickly if you do it the right way.
Yeah, if you can rebuild, draft well, and that's the key. You've got to draft well. I mean, we beat this horse to death, but we don't need to talk about John Schneider's draft history since Pete Carroll's gone.
No, we don't. Olympics are going on. You've been watching any of the Olympics?
Casually at best.
Do you see the curling controversy?
Apparently, if you touch the rock with your middle finger or your index finger, that's a big faux pas.
Well, I believe it's called, a double touch? Is that what it's called?
We are still talking about curling, right?
Absolutely. But so do you know the story behind this?
I mean, I saw the 30-second take on Instagram on one of the sports feeds, and the guys yelling at each other. And
no, so it was Canada, and what was the other country? Sweden. So the Swedes set up a camera because the broadcast displays had cameras all over the place, but they didn't have a camera down the line. So they went out on their own accord, set up a camera right on the line because they knew that this guy was double touching.
He was a double toucher.
So that's why when they were yelling at each other, he was like, hey, check the video. And the guy's like, oh, whatever. There's no angles that are going to show this. He had no idea that they had the camera set up.
And there he is, caught red-handed.
And he was pretty adamant that he was not cheating.
Well, I don't know the rule as well. I mean, it's freaking curling. I don't know what's going on. They've got the little handle on the top, right?
Yes.
So you're not allowed to touch anything but the handle. Is that the rule?
I believe so, yes.
It's not like you can do whatever you like behind the line.
No, you hold the handle, you slide down, you control your speed, your initial speed, and then you let go. And then your brushers Sweepers are the ones that are in charge of speeding it up, slowing it down, going left, going right.
Because it's glorified lawn bowls, essentially, is what it is. It's lawn bowls on ice.
Yeah, see, I grew up playing a lot of shuffleboard.
Okay.
So I kind of like curling.
I mean, it's kind of something you have on in the background. And
absolutely. I was watching a little bit last night.
There's a lot of yelling and screaming going on, and in languages that most of the time I don't understand. And
yes.
Anyway.
Yep. You watching any other sports in the Olympics?
No, because, I mean, I don't care about the figure skating and any of that stuff. It's just not my jam. I do like watching people go down the mountain really fast and like jumping up in the air and crashing and that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know about the crashing part.
But I'm not rooting for it, but it's it's kind of like a motor car race, right?
Yeah.
You're not rooting for it, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Kind of like the Daytona 500, right?
So I mean, and that's part of the reasons why you watch, because it's like these guys could like seriously hurt themselves at any given point in time.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine going down a mountain like that?
No.
And not just like straight down the mountain, but now you're going to go off of a jump, or you're going to try to go in between these flags.
Did you see the guy that nearly ruined his sex life for the rest of his life?
Yeah, good thing those flags have a little give to them.
He just went down.
Yes. There's been some other cool stuff. The U.S. women's hockey team played this morning. They have a 331-minute scoreless streak going. They have not given up a goal since the very first game of the Olympics, which I think is now like 5 straight games. They're kind of on a roll.
That sounds pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, and then even the men's hockey is doing pretty well. So
I heard there was a big kerfuffle between I think it was the Americans and the Germans, because like the two best players in like the NHL one plays for Florida and one plays I think for Edmonton maybe.
Okay.
And I think those guys have like faced each other in like the NHL finals the last few years.
Yeah.
And the one guy in Florida, I can't pronounce his last name, Tkachuk or whatever.
Yeah, he's one of the Tkachuk brothers.
Right. Yeah. And he's like the guy, right?
Yeah.
And I guess his line was to the other guy, always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he was probably talking to McDavid, and it's right. Edmonton has had a really good team. I mean, they've got some, player of the years every year.
Right.
And they have not won a Stanley Cup. I don't even know if they've gotten to a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. And I guess it was caught on a hot mic, and it wasn't meant to be caught on a mic, and it
of
was.
Course.
And
yeah.
But the truth is a 100% defense, I hear.
It is, and there's a statistical history there to back all that up.
Right.
So, any other Olympic events coming up that you have any interest in?
Yeah, so I wish I would have done this when I was little, because there's no way I would even dare of trying it now.
Cross-country skiing and shooting?
No, that I would actually try. I mean, it'd take me a lot longer than it takes those guys, but I would give that a whirl.
We go fast downhill, though.
That's the stopping that scares me.
Yes.
And I'm not using gravity as the brake. The ski jump.
Really?
Oh, man. Those guys are just launching themselves in the air. I mean, did you hear the controversy about the ski jump before the Olympics started?
No.
Okay. This is a real deal. I promise you I'm not making this up. You can absolutely go and find it on ESPN, Sports Illustrated, The Athletic, whatever. So, they wear these super duper suits, right?
Yeah.
Now, they have to get measured apparently, and the suit has to literally be like skin tight.
Yeah.
So, what some of the male athletes were doing, they were injecting a certain portion of their anatomy with a certain drug or something that made it expand for a temporary period of time. And they would do this while they were getting their suits measured. And then when they wore the suit during the jump, it actually acted as a sail type effect and would gain them an extra 4 to 5 yards. This is a real thing.
There's no way this is real.
This is 1,000% real. I tell you, I would not make this up because it's too good of a story. It was a real thing. So that they would have a sail effect between their legs.
I mean, that's a competitive advantage, right? I guess whatever it takes to win a gold medal.
And I guess the science is actually there. It would literally give them an extra 3 to 5 yards extra.
Yeah.
Which is probably the difference between a medal or not.
It could be. Yeah, you get another half a spin or something going on.
No, this was just the ski jump.
Just distance.
Yeah, because these guys, it's distance is the only factor, right?
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
But no, that would, can you imagine hurdling off this deal and flying 100 yards in the air or something? Like that's got to be cool.
No, that'd be fun.
My only question on that is, how do you do the first one?
I was going to say, how do you get started?
It's kind of like pole vault. Like, how do you go and stick this stick in the ground, jump 5-8 meters in the air,
Yes.
and pray that you don't miss the mat?
Or land on the stick.
Right.
Yeah, the first one would be crazy. I guess you have to start off small. You probably do like a little 2-foot jump and then 3 feet, 4 feet. I mean, it just kind of keeps growing and growing and growing from there.
It's one of those things you got to just do at 8 years old when he's like, I'm 8 years old. I don't care. I'm going.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes natural. But
nowadays you probably practice in a foam pit.
oh, I'm sure they've got. I'm sure there's many techniques to start. But yeah, how do you do the first one?
Scary. All right, let's get into college baseball started. So all levels of college baseball are now in play, from junior colleges all the way up to the D1s. Oregon State, should we just call that Corvallis South?
Pretty much.
I mean, down in Surprise, they were averaging over 6,000 fans a game at those games. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I watched the Saturday game all the way through and was texting with a number of buddies that were actually at the game, and they estimated between 75-80% were wearing orange and black.
Oh, I believe that. Maybe not Saturday, because Saturday was against Arizona, so I'm sure there was a healthy Wildcat population. But yeah, the pictures and video I saw, it was like wrapped all the way foul pole to foul pole.
Yeah, and even the outfield, there were plenty of people on the blankets sitting out there doing their thing, and that's what it should be. That's awesome.
Exactly. Ducks were at home, brave in the cold and the rain.
Yeah, no thanks.
But they've done that the last couple of years. They've stayed home to start the year.
I'm sure there's a method to the madness. And you know what? Eugene is 2 hours south. The weather is slightly better. Full turf field with all the they've got all the toys to stay warm. So
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Beavs they're playing right now as we're recording, up 3-1 in the 6th. So kind of similar deal as what kind of plagued us last year so far, showing up early on in the season, and that's back into the bullpen, struggling to close out the games and struggling to just to hold leads. And it's unfortunate because, Yeager we brought in out of UW, Isaac Yeager, who, he was a big-time closer for the Huskies last year on a really good team. He goes out that first game and kind of blows it. And hopefully they can figure out the bullpen, because that's it's kind of like the Mariners. They got an incredible starting staff. I mean, Whitney, Kleinschmidt, Segura. Yeah. That's pretty darn good.
Well, Segura could well be a Friday night guy for a lot of big programs in the country.
Yeah, thankfully he stayed.
I'm less concerned about that than you are, because I think once we get into league play and your traditional 3-game set, you'll see Dax and Kleinschmidt especially go deeper in games. And you've still got Queen, the guy you were just talking about, Hutch, Kamatz. I think 7-8 arms is probably enough once you get into league play, providing our starters can get us through 6.
Yeah.
Which I think on a regular basis, I think they will. And I can see Dax and Kleinschmidt going deeper than that too. So I am less concerned about that than I am on how we replace the 75-80 home runs between Aba Arquette, Gavin Turley, and Wilson Weber.
And that's why I'm concerned about the pitching.
Right.
The back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, because we're going to have to win 3-2 ball games.
If you only give up 2 runs, you only got to score 3 to win. So.
And we're going to have to win a lot of games that way.
Yep.
Because I was just watching that lineup. I mean, I watched that entire game on Saturday, and there wasn't even a ball that hit the wall. I mean, nothing even got to the gap.
Yep.
I mean, and that's in Scottsdale at 2,000 feet at 70 degrees. It's not like they were playing at Goss when it was 45 degrees and raining. Hey, man, I hope there's some bats in there that come alive and someone comes out of nowhere. But like you said, it's going to be a lot of I think the safety squeeze is going to be on the dance card more often than not this year.
Well, look, watching highlights all throughout Twitter and stuff, there were a lot of teams that were bunting this weekend. And across the board, from UCLA, number 1 team in the country, all the way down to the smaller colleges. There was a lot of bunting going on because – well, at this time of year, pitchers are always ahead of hitters.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you're going to see it always seems like about May 1st it pivots.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it gets a little warmer. The guys have got 50, 60 at-bats under their belt, and the offense seems to come alive a little more often. So it's early. I mean, it's way too early to judge, but I think we knew what we were getting. It's going to have to be pitching and defense this year, and hopefully we run into 1 or 2 every now and then. And
hey, that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
So did you happen to see the record-breaking performance by Tice Armstrong at Baylor?
Oh, you were telling me about this the other day.
Dude, one game, first game of the year, 3 times he comes up with the bases loaded, which right there already, like you said, that's a statistical anomaly. That's not very likely to happen.
No.
Hits 3 grand slams.
I mean, I think that might be harder to do than win the Powerball.
Well, it's the second time in college baseball history that somebody's hit 3 grand slams in one game.
That baffles me alone. I mean, if you would have told me there's been 2 grand slams hit in a game like 8 times in ever, I'd be like, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
3?
3? Pretty insane.
I only had 2 in my entire college career. Not in the same day, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun college baseball season. There's a lot of good teams out there. There's some really good draft eligible players that are coming through. So should be a good year of baseball. I'm excited for the D1 season, and I'm even more excited for the small college stuff because all the JCs and everybody got kicked off this weekend. So there were games all over Vancouver, Portland area. So it was good to see. Even our D3 guys got.
I believe our alumni were down in Southern California this last weekend.
They were, and one of my former players goes to Linfield, and I was giving him a little crap this morning because I went through the box scores, and he's got 2 appearances on the season. He's thrown 1.2 innings, and he's got 2 wins.
Wow.
I was like, you're just going out and sniping wins in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning of these games, huh? And he goes, oh, you better believe it.
Hey.
A win's a win, right?
Right place at the right time sometimes, coming in the 7th inning, down a run, and then they have to put a 2-3 spot on the board, and lovely.
Bingo, I steal a win. So we'll have a lot more on college baseball coming up, but it's great to see everybody playing, and I can't wait to get down to Goss to watch a game.
Hey there, I'm Chad with Jackson Painting and Remodel, and if you're looking to give your home a fresh new look, you've come to the right place. Whether you need a bold new color for your living room or a fresh coat to brighten up your home's exterior, my team and I have got you covered. We specialize in both indoor and outdoor painting, using only the best materials to make sure your space looks amazing and stands the test of time. If you're ready to transform your home, visit jacksonpainting.com. I'd love to come by, chat about your ideas, and give you a free estimate. At Jackson Painting and Remodel, we don't just paint, we make your vision a reality. Again, visit jacksonpainting.com or call 503-620-2600.
All right, NBA All-Star Weekend was this past weekend. Did you get to watch any of this? Because by the time I turned the TV on, it was already all over. It was on at 2 o'clock Pacific time.
I think the difference is, did I get to or did I want to? And I certainly didn't make it a priority, I'll tell you that.
No, I got to see a little bit of All-Star Saturday.
Okay.
That's always something I like to watch.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of like the skills challenges and stuff.
I do, and I like the 3-point competition, and I used to really like to enjoy the dunk contest because, it's something that I could dunk a tennis ball back when I was in high school, but that's about as far as I got.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing to see guys that are literally bouncing their foreheads off the rim and dunking basketballs. Or, well, in this case, guy bounced his head off the back of the backboard and just face planted. But
did he knock himself out?
Well, I think he was just fed up with watching the crappy dunk contest. I was like, I'm out of here. I mean, literally, they had this guy, and it was like he was going to do a dunk from the free throw line. He steps halfway in the middle of the key and just does a one-handed dunk. Like, it was the most basic in-game dunk you've ever seen.
Right.
And it's like, man, this is supposed to be jumping over cars, jumping over people, doing creative stuff, and really you're just going to run down the court and just do a standard one-handed dunk when you're 6'6", 6'7". Like,
so Blake Griffin wasn't jumping over a car this year?
I don't even know any of the players that were in the dunk contest.
They were all G League.
Oh, is that the deal?
Yes, and the only reason I know this...
Or two-way players?
Well, sure, I don't...
Yeah.
And the only reason I know this is because of a 15-year-old kid that lives with me, because I didn't have any idea.
Yeah, I didn't know. But one of the cool parts about All-Star Weekend on Saturday was Damian Lillard, 3-time champion of the three-point contest. Now, I got to say, I was watching this, and I was like, hey, cool for Dame, like cool for Portland, all this stuff. Talk about an unfair advantage, though. All the other guys, Devin Booker, they're out there playing every single day. They're not just sitting at home in the practice facility with the rack set up, shooting three-pointers, getting ready for a three-point contest. I mean, there is definitely an advantage to that.
Well, let's not forget, he was one of the premier shooters in the NBA.
Well, I know, but he doesn't have to go to practice. He doesn't have to. He's not playing in a game and then trying to recover from the game and then get his 3-point shots up, like, doing all this stuff. Like, he's literally probably just been sitting there for the last 2 weeks going, all right, I'm going to do a 3-point contest. And he probably practices it like 10 times a day. Like, of course he should have good rhythm and flow to it. I mean, I can't imagine that many shots in that little a time is easy.
So I did hear that for next year, Steph has said he wants to do it.
Yes.
So if you could get Steph, Dame.
He wants to get Clay going.
Okay.
Just those three alone, I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. I mean, is a CJ in that conversation? I don't remember. I mean, who else is one of the premier 3-point shooters in the league?
Man, isn't everybody a 3-point shooter in the league right now?
Yeah, but there's guys that shoot them at 35 to 38%, and there's guys like Dame and Steph who are more in the mid-40s.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell, Michael Porter Jr. is at a little over 3.5 threes per game. Get Luka in there.
Sure.
It's the all-star game.
Yes.
Every player that's participating in these events should be all-star caliber players.
Yes.
Household names.
Yes.
Because otherwise, how are you going to get people to watch?
Well, if you get Steph and Clay and Dame and whoever, Luka, I'll probably watch.
Yeah, I would tune in for that. And then they changed the format of the game this year. I don't know if you saw that.
Nope.
So it was...
was it like the Americans versus the world or something?
Yeah, it was like 2 American teams, the Stars and the Stripes, and then there was like a third team that was all international guys. I guess outside... So there was... You win and you're in kind of a deal. So there was 3 games. I guess 2 out of the 3 games were really close, and then the championship was a little bit of a blowout. But the nice part about that format is it wasn't 180 to 170. So you had to try to win a 10-minute game.
So I was listening to a little bit of talk radio this morning in the truck on the way over, and apparently Victor wanted to play some defense, and then everybody else said, well, if he's going to play defense, we're going to play defense too.
Really?
Yeah. Which I thought was refreshing, to say the least.
Well, I mean, that's why they changed formats, right? Is to make it more competitive. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is fun to go see the dunk contest in the All-Star game, since we don't get to see the dunk contest. But, the last couple of years, how many times have we seen Steph and Dame just post up at half court trying to make half-court shots? I mean, if that doesn't tell you how much of a joke that game would become, that's all you need to know. But
well, they had to go hit that logo Lillard. Had to be logo Lillard.
But there was also, you go back into the early 2000s and stuff, trying to get Magic Johnson an MVP, Jordan, Kobe. Like, there was kind of that inner fraternity thing going on where, hey, we want to make sure this guy's an all-star MVP and honored in amongst his peers. So I think you kind of lost a little bit of that in this setup, but it sounds like it was successful. I think dunk contest might officially be dead.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
I mean, I wouldn't even know. Let's assume that you could take your pick of the 6 best guys in the NBA to be in that. I don't know who I would pick for that. I don't even know.
Well, and that's the problem is it would be a guy like Shannon Sharp.
Shaden.
See? So, I mean, if you're on the East Coast, you're saying the same thing we're saying. Like, I don't even know these people.
But he is actually a borderline all-star guy. I mean, he averages 25 and 5, I think. I mean, he's like a borderline all-star guy.
Yeah, but if you went to Boston or New York or Memphis and you said Sharp, they're not going, oh, yeah, he's good. Like, it's not like saying Luka or LeBron or, any of these names everybody knows. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Okay.
So, since we're talking NBA, this is kind of a lot of NBA in this episode with the anti-tanking and
what's going
now
on
the
here?
All-Star game. Well, something hits close to home.
Maybe we need to go back to football.
No, we'll finish with this for today.
Yeah, so, I know where this is going.
Blazers sold.
Yep.
Now there's an arena conspiracy, I think, going on. I got to tell you, I've been to a couple NBA arenas. Well, I've been to Phoenix.
That's a turd.
That's a dump. And I've been to Seattle, which I thought was decent. And I've been to Staples Center. I got to see Kobe play in his last season. I think that the Moda Center, inside the arena, the actual visual watching of the basketball game is one of the best laid out arenas. Every seat has good side angles. the tunnels are in the corner, so they don't, it's not like there's a tunnel in the middle of the on the half court line.
Yep.
Even 200 level, even the first couple rows of the 300 level, you feel like you're like right on top of the action. It's good. What is all this talk that if Moda Center doesn't get completely renovated or rebuilt, we're going to lose the Blazers?
So, the number is what, 650 million is getting thrown around out there ish.
So is that a renovation number or a replacement number?
Well, certainly not a replacement number. No, it's a renovation number. To me, it looked like a majority of that money they really kind of wanted to spend on the, what would you call like the terrace out front? What would you call that area?
Oh, you mean the area that Mr. Miller wanted to renovate into a community restaurants and like the whole create a living room for the stadium, like somewhere where people go hang out?
I believe that is kind of more where this money would be focused.
So we're talking about potentially losing our basketball team because of the city not wanting to redevelop the Rose Quarter?
Well,
is that basically what we're talking about?
This is the city of Portland here. Come on. I mean, nothing makes sense. I mean, unless you want to like maybe save a spot for a spotted owl in there or something. I mean, that city of Portland ain't going to pay for it.
Well, you just got to replace the trees.
Yeah. Look, the new owner's throwing some weight around, and why shouldn't he? He'll play the if you don't pay for this, I'll move the team card, which they all do. He won't be the first, and he won't be the last. I don't think he really wants to move the team. I think Portland's a very viable NBA city. It makes money. Despite the team's best efforts to completely disenfranchise the fan base, they still show up because it's the only show in town. And look, at the end, I mean, you know me, I was an avid fan for the better part of 15 years. COVID put a kibosh on that for me, but that's my own personal thoughts. That doesn't affect the city itself. And there's still plenty of people that love Blazer basketball, and as they should. And it's a good thing for the city. I don't think. Look, when you think about the budget for the state of Oregon and whatever, $600 million is really not that much money in the grand scheme of things. And the additional revenue generated, I think, would pay that off in. When you think it's not just basketball, all the concerts, all the Winterhawks, the hockey, there's so many events that go through that Rose Quarter that, yeah, if there were bars, restaurants, and stuff, it may be the beginning of a revitalization of downtown Portland. I don't think it's going to solve the problem, but it might help. So it's kind of tough sitting there with billionaires saying you need to give me money, but I think you need to look at the bigger picture and professional sports and all the other concerts and other events that come along with having that stadium in downtown. The money generated, I think, well offsets the initial outlay.
Well, and if you think back to a couple of years ago when Portland was kicking around the idea of getting the All-Star game,
mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have enough hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. So then what do? They go and they start building all those hotels across from the convention center. So you're right. Like, it's economic development. But, to throw it out there and go, well, if you don't give us the $600 million, if the city and the state don't pay for the renovations to the stadium, that, again, I think is just fine. And you're talking about exterior stuff on the most part. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
could you imagine losing the Blazers in Portland?
The answer to that question is yes, I can absolutely imagine it. I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago, I would have said you're out of your mind. That was at the heyday of the, Lillard, CJ, we would go in the Western Conference Finals, and this whole town seemed happier because the Blazers were winning. I just don't see that passion for the Blazers anymore. You and I were just recently up in Seattle in January. That town loves their Seahawks.
Oh, I was just up there this weekend, and everybody was still walking around in Seahawks gear.
Yeah. I mean, I think the people of Portland like their Blazers now. I don't think they love them like they used to. I think there's a big portion of people that have been disenfranchised that just, look, winning will cure all. It always does. They start winning and people will show up. But the answer is yes, I could imagine it. I think there have been a lot of bonehead decisions made over the years. Starting with the fact that, do you remember when we used to have Fairless Square?
Yeah. And
how many times you and I, a bunch of other people, would meet at some random bar, grab a nice happy hour before the game, or we could all jump on the train, zip over to the game, and then zip back afterwards. Sometimes we'd even have a post game if it was a big night or something, Thursday TNT game, something like that. All that ended.
It did. I mean, people, like you said, you could hit all the different restaurants and all around the whole city. I mean, there are some people like Mr. Jackson who believes that the Max is fairless no matter where you go.
No.
But it did open up. It did open up economic development for all those restaurants. And if you think, the places we used to go, they're not there anymore.
No. I mean, you think about all the places we'd go there in Old Town. And then, you could even go back up towards the park blocks because the Max was stopped right there at the park blocks.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do the Ruth Chris and Eson's and all those places before games. And now you just drive straight to the stadium, go in, you maybe buy a beer or a Coke, and that's really all you're doing. Take
off your bulletproof vest when you walk in. I mean,
well, the last time I was at Moda Center, my car got broken into, so haven't been there since.
Yeah, and the last game I went to was the Lakers during COVID when there was literally 1,800 people because you had to sit in your little pods.
Yeah.
And Kiddo wanted to go see Anthony Davis and LeBron, so we did, and that's the last game I went to at the Moda Center.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they get some sort of financing package done because I'd hate to see Portland lose the Blazers. I'd hate to lose really our only true professional sports team here in Portland because Seattle's going to get an NBA team. This is
Seattle and Vegas. It's done.
It's done. To have that rivalry coming back is going to be awesome. So, and the Blazers are just starting to get to be good again. Mm-hmm. With the expansion draft, Seattle will probably be good in a couple of years. So I'm excited for that I-5 rivalry coming back. But I hope they get this figured out.
The other thing is if they don't, and I'm going to bring this to a tangent, if we have any prayer of getting Major League Baseball in this town, we cannot lose the Blazers.
Well, and that's my thought is why not invoke that jock tax now?
No,
take some of that money.
You know what? I'm gonna get really uppity on this whole jock tax. There are so many different ways to pay for it. Let's look at the example of how it actually cost Sam Darnold money to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He actually had to pay more taxes than what he earned.
Yes.
I'll tell you personally, and I work for one of the largest banks in the world. I work with Wells Fargo. They are headquartered in San Francisco. We no longer will do any of our corporate meetings in the state of California because I'm charged income tax on for every day I'm in there going to work. Guess what? We go to Arizona to do our conferences now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the last thing Portland needs is another headwind for economic activity. Find a different way. You're going to make it back in, if anything, and I've said this for years, we should have a sales tax, not an income tax. And that way, when everyone comes into town to watch the game, they get charged their 10%, just like we do when we go to Seattle or California. Even in Arizona, they got a 6-7% sales tax.
Yep.
Charge everybody else. Why do we have to always beat up ourselves? Let them pay. We got to go pay everywhere we go. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the jock tax at all. It's another headwind. It's another way that, Seattle is now starting to put that millionaires tax, the state of Washington. Want to know which two things they didn't call? They didn't call the Seahawks. They didn't call the Mariners. Those guys are going to have free agency and they're going to try to get a guy. And they're going to go, well, if you pay me this and the team in Texas or Florida pays me the exact amount of money, it's 12% more money by staying in Texas or Florida.
Yep.
Of course, I don't care if you make $100 million and someone says, I'm going to take away 10 from you. And you're going to go, well, it's still $90 million. Are you going to want to give away $10 million? I ain't.
No.
So that's where I'm just, we got to get out of our own way on some of this stuff. So that's enough of that. But all I'm trying to say is no more headwinds. Make it easier, not harder for us to succeed in the Northwest. So.
Enjoyed Lineups and Lures? Like, share, and rate the show to help us grow. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, and catch you next time on Lineups and Lures.